You're gold. Sorry about that, folks. You wanna start over?
No, man, we're good.
All right, cool.
On my end. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, Sean, we all know you as the host of the Big Homies channel, the Big Homies Breakdown, supporter of many, but you've done a lot more in your life, and uh, I just lost my train of thought, everybody, and I apologize.
It's all right.
My old age kicked in really hard just then.
Man,
Tell
it
us about the
hits pretty
Sean.
good.
Tell us some things about the Sean we don't know.
So some of you may or may not know. So I graduated high school with like not quite a 3.0, but not anything lower than that really. Um, I went straight to the military after high school. Uh, so I didn't do like the college thing. Uh, but I tell you what, every day in the barracks as a single soldier was basically like college.
I bet. I bet.
I'm pretty sure we can go pound for pound with a college sorority or a dorm or anything, and our parties are just as good.
Especially when you got furlough or leave, huh?
Oh yeah. So
So,
I was in the military. Um, I've been married twice. I told my current wife, I said, "You're the last one. I'm not doing this again. It takes too much."
I understand. I understand. What was your job in the military? What did you do?
So I was transportation 88 Mike. Hauled everything from ammo to MREs to fuel to people to certain ammos and weapons and whatever else you could fit on a truck or in a tank of a truck. I
Yeah.
drove it.
My father had that's exactly what my father did in Korea.
Oh yeah, thank you for your service.
Yeah. Well, thank you for yours, buddy. Well, when did reptiles and crawly things first enter into your life? Before your military service, after, during?
So like any kid, right? I always had that interest in the little bugs and the lizards and whatever running around outside and whatnot. But I didn't really get into the being able to keep anything because my mom wasn't having it. My dad really wasn't having it either. So and those were two different households I lived in. You know what I mean? I still couldn't get away with it either at either parent's house. So
Right.
uh, when I joined the military, um, I had some snakes. And I've said it before. I say it again. I had them in the barracks, and nobody ever knew the better.
Wow. I
Nobody
guess
ever knew
the
better.
other guys probably enjoyed it too.
Yep. But deployments came up, and I realized rehoming animals is kind of difficult when it was such short notice. I
Yeah.
did get everything rehomed. It was only two animals at the time, but with the way the military was then, it was like I probably shouldn't get no more animals. Being that I might have to do this again. So it was many many years till I got into snakes again. Uh, it was about 2000. I was still over the road trucking for myself, and my daughter was like, "Hey," I took her to a reptile show. It was actually a show me show. Um, it was a great show. My daughter ended up asking if we could do this together as like something her and I do, and that's how SJS Exotics basically all got started.
That's
It was
great.
supposed to be Sean, Journey, and Shannon, but we ended up having another baby, Savannah, so we just switched me out with Savannah, and now it's
Right.
all three of the girls.
Well, that's good. That's cool. Did they help you a lot with the snake room and things like that? Or
So when I was still over the road, Shannon at oh gosh, she was 8. She would feed them, do spot cleans, and do any necessary change outs, if it was bad or if they shed, she knew to change out the tub. And she would do it while I was on the road. And I'd be on the road 2-3 weeks at a time.
Right.
She'd just go in there and square it away. Now she's 13 and it's a little harder to get her in the room or deal with the rats or anything now, but it works. We'll figure it out.
How about the littler ones? Are they interested or?
So Savannah, the youngest one, uh, she's getting ready to turn 4, but she loves watching when I feed these animals. For whatever reason, she's just zoned in. But she dare not come near the tub while they're eating. She says they move too fast for her.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
the first few times I fed, that I ever fed them, it surprised me how quick they go from 0 to 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit fast.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Sean, we're here to talk about not only ball pythons, but about mental health and things. And we know a lot of veterans struggle in silence. It's not the macho thing to talk about or whatever. When did you first realize yourself that you had any of these kind of issues that you had to fight or was going on?
Well, I was actually still in the military and didn't really know what to call it. My chain of command didn't know really what was going on.
Right.
Nobody really knew what was going on because I was with the 3rd Infantry for both of those deployments. So the unit I was with, we were responsible basically for loading up the entire 3rd Infantry Division onto boats to get sent over. And then we were the last unit to come out. We were the last unit to come out, but we all went across the border at the same time. And we were like the last unit to come back home too.
Right.
Yeah. There was a lot of good things. There was some incredibly horrible things. There's some things that probably nobody should talk about or even have to witness, to be fair.
Yeah.
There's some things, like you go to Germany, that's super cool. I got stationed in Germany, right? Like how many people could say they've been overseas?
Yeah.
I mean, not unless you got a bunch of money, but us poor folks, we join the military and we go travel that way.
That's right. That's right.
I will say one thing though. On my first deployment, shout out to whoever that pilot was that took us around the entire island of Ireland on a clear blue sky day, which rarely happens. I really did thought at that moment, I was like, all right, cool. I've seen everything really cool. I'm probably not going to come home after this. Like, this is too beautiful to do anything else at that time. It's kind of where my thinking was at. And I know we came home. My ugly face is still sitting around.
Well, we're glad. We're glad. Well, let me ask a hard question. What were some of the signs you started noticing that told you something isn't right, or I shouldn't be feeling this way, or kind of thing?
So there were definitely signs from the first deployment into the second deployment. But like I said, we didn't really know what was going on. So how was I supposed to figure that out?
Yeah.
At the time, I was being seen by the doc or whatever and had me doing Ambien and it was making me sleepwalk. I told my chain of command. They told me I was basically blowing smoke up their ass. Sorry for the language, but
no, it does that. I can promise.
That's basically what they told me. And off I went to my second deployment. Except one night, the guys got to see me. I was full on DJ and then a drummer, all in a matter of like 15 minutes. I don't remember the situation, but there are a lot of people who were there and witnessed it. If anyone in the chat right now was part of that shenanigans, Go ahead and put it out in the chat right now. You guys know what it is. It was kind of embarrassing for me because everybody's like, "Hey, bro, can you really DJ?" And I'm like, "What the hell y'all talking about, man?" And they were laughing, and everybody, dude, it was a good time. It was a good time, but
Yeah.
at that moment, I had to be watched because I was in a combat zone, sleepwalking.
Right.
Yeah, because they
Well,
didn't want to believe me.
I can attest to that. With in my struggles and battles, I had been prescribed Ambien, and you can take a trip to the ice cream store and not remember it or anything. My problem became is I would take one and go to sleep and wake up and realize I was only asleep for about 30, 45 minutes. And then not remember if I took it or not and take it again.
Yeah, no, I have my wife set me up with all my meds.
My wife does. That's what my wife does now. But we don't take it. We don't take Ambien at all or any of those medicines of that type anymore.
I don't take Ambien whatsoever. If I do, so when I found out, actually, funny story. I was with my ex-wife, my oldest daughter's mom, and she said I just went to walk out of the apartment in some Army PT shorts, the Army PT hoodie backwards, a flip flop. I had that road guard vest, the little reflective little belt that they wear.
Yeah.
She said you had it tied around your head like you were a Ninja Turtle. I was like, "Did you get a picture?" She's like, "No, I was trying to get you back in because you were trying to go drive." Oh, dude, I'll never forget that. But you don't never remember the occasion, right? Unless somebody wakes you up, which is a bad idea.
Yeah, my wife said it was a truth serum because I would spill the beans on everything.
Ruin Christmas every year.
Like the kids would ask me a question, knowing I was half asleep. I'd tell them everything they got for Christmas, the whole 9 yards. Not knowing I was doing that in reality, but
Yeah.
If you had to join that, knowing what you know now, would you rejoin the military at the same age if you was given that option?
Yes.
I myself wanted to join out of high school, but of course I was the big kid in the neighborhood, and especially then, I think they've redid some of their height, weight things and fat percentages and things now to where it's a little more lenient. But at 6'4", 6'5", I would have had to weigh like 170 pounds. And I weighed twice that.
Ooh.
So
yeah, no, I would absolutely do it again, knowing what I know and the stuff that I've seen, the stuff that I was part of, everything. Like, I would do it again because I wouldn't want anybody else to relive my experiences. I lived those experiences because somehow I was built for those experiences.
Right. Well,
and I didn't always have that way of thinking, but that's how I think now.
I think as we get older, and I do, when we're going through those kind of things, we wonder sometimes why me, why is it happening to me, and all those kind of things. And regardless of what we've been through, we realize that it took all of that to be who Sean is today. You wouldn't be the same person, and you wouldn't have the same outlook on life and the same compassion and things like that. It may be close, but it would be not the same as you are. So
yeah, 100%.
I guess it's maybe it's a coping mechanism as well, but I've tried to learn to accept things that way.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, was there a specific moment you can recall when things just felt like they were spiraling out of control, or a moment that really forced you to take heed to something was going on?
Yeah, and we'll get to that right after these.
Shout out to our sponsors for sure, Fat Man Nation and Jay Fisherman Photography, both great gentlemen. Pay attention to Fat Man Nation. They got some great things going on to help veterans right now, and it's something we should all be a part of. So back to our question, what was that moment that you felt like things were spiraling out of control and you had to do something about it?
Well, for the longest time, I was actually trying to just deny the fact that I was a mental wreck. I was too proud to admit that I had a problem. It was, and it wasn't too long ago either. Yeah, so I used to get into deep depression states where I couldn't do anything. I was frozen. Even with having the animals, sometimes it was just like, how do I even do anything for the day?
Right.
And during all this, I'm on my second marriage already because the first one didn't work. I mean, can't blame the woman. Because at that time I was unwilling to help myself. And I know there are other vets out there in the same shoes that I was in.
I'm sure.
Go get the help.
Oh yeah.
So about like 2 or 3 years ago, SJS Exotics around the 2000 was basically in function, and I had a very small very small operation for rodents because I was just supplying myself. But a former sergeant of mine saw that there was some potential there,
right,
and wanted to do things with me. So we did, and it started really good. But keep in mind, I'm still dealing with something that I'm trying to deny the whole thing the whole way. Like, and it affected everything. It affected everything in the worst possible way. I ended up losing part of that business, the rodentry, unfortunately. I almost lost my second marriage a few times. She probably should have walked away from me. Um, and I knew things were getting bad. Even my kids were at the point where they were either too afraid to approach me and even talk to me, or
it's okay, bud.
Yeah. So
it's
I
tough.
think it was.
It's definitely tough. We it's come a long way, but even today it's kind of downplayed, and there's people who think that these things aren't real and they don't exist. But I think we share a lot of things alike that we said before, but I can imagine it made you very angry. And a lot of times, like I'm when you're dealing with your family and things, that's who it comes out on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Sean, it takes a big man to do what you're doing right now.
Well, I figured if it helps just one person, that's all it. Then job done.
Right.
Yeah. And so like I said, about 3 years ago, almost 4, is when I realized everything was basically crumbling. And I mean, the repercussions from it I'm still dealing with today.
Yes.
Today. Because I was too proud to go get help. I thought I could do everything.
Right.
That I could do this. That, for most of my life, I was raised, I'm the man of the house. I've got to be the provider, the protector, do everything.
See my shirt?
And yeah.
We think we have to be Superman.
Yep.
We're
And
it was kind of bred into our generation.
yeah. You know, and it's hard when every 15 minutes when you're working, like I tried doing some factory work. That didn't work out. You know, like every 15 minutes I'm going to the bathroom to go lock myself in a damn toilet because I'm having anxiety.
Right.
I'm taking my meds so my anxiety goes away, and I just sit there 20, 30 minutes and they're like, "Why are you behind?" Well, sorry. I don't control when the anxiety comes.
Yeah. And it's definitely real for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your reptiles and your pets and things. How many species of creatures and things do you have, Sean?
Right now I've got about 50 ball pythons and several crested geckos. I just got uh some tokays, and I got some gargoyles as well just recently. Um so oh, and I got a tarantula from Cat.
Yeah, I knew that.
It's a Grammostola pulchra.
I wouldn't know what that is, but
Yes, it's a wonderful animal actually. I actually had a terrifying fear of spiders, and this thing is actually helping me in more ways than one.
oh yeah. So which of the do you enjoy one of the species more than others, or there's something about each one of them that
Um, you know, on the one hand, there is definitely something about each one of them that's different. Like for instance, when it comes to the ball pythons, I love them all year round, but I especially love when the egg season comes. It's like Christmas every clutch, whether if you have one clutch or 100 clutches. Like trying to figure out the IDs on these and some of that kind of stuff. It's fun, man. It's exciting. It's like opening Christmas gifts when you're a little kid.
yeah.
And I really enjoy that feeling that I get. With the geckos, they're just like little chunky fat creatures. I like how they feel in my hand. So
Yeah. Right.
that's why I like the geckos so much. So it's a little different for everything.
Yeah. I can I'll have my first clutch here in a few months. I think the most exciting part is when you would cut one of them open or one of them pips through, and
Mhm.
it's something totally you have no clue where it came from or how it got in there. You
Yeah,
know that one of the parents had this gene you knew nothing about, and something crazy comes out.
that actually happened to me last year. I had
Yeah,
a GHI fire girl, and I
right.
put my GHI hypo boy to her. Well, found out she's had hypo because I ended up getting half the clutch was hypo.
Yeah, that's a good surprise though,
It is. It really just is.
for sure. Uh, what do you think? I mean, we all understand cats and dogs and things like that. Yeah, don't send me a tarantula. Yeah, the wife will have a mental breakdown on me. Uh, like I said, we all understand cats and dogs and those furry kind of animals, how they help us and things. But I think I've said it several times in the past, but scientists and all these experts want to say that the ball pythons or the geckos and things, they don't have the same type of feeling or empathy and things like that. However, at least in my experience, and I want you to tell me about yours. There's times when I'm working with these snakes that I see those same puppy dog eyes I do in my dog. That they're thankful for taking care of them or helping them, or when they have you rescue one that's got stuck shed or whatever, and you help it out of that situation. What do you think about all that?
I don't know. I really think that that whole um, that animals can't have empathy or care or think for themselves. I think that's a strictly a human being thing. Like, just because we think we're the highest life form on the planet, so therefore everything else is not as good, and that's just kind of how we do it. But I think all these animals are capable of it. You treat it well, it's not usually wanting to bite you, right? Because it
Right.
knows this guy is not a threat or this lady is not a threat, right? But if you go in there constantly and you thump the animal on the head twice a day, every day, it's going to start striking at you.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have feelings.
We had
I've
a
seen snakes miss a rat, bite themselves, and go straight to the back of the tub, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's embarrassment slither right there."
mm-hmm.
All day, that's embarrassment slither.
Yeah, for sure. We had another breeder at the house the other night, and they were looking at our animals, and his wife isn't as keen on putting her hands in the tubs and things as he is.
Mm.
And I asked her, which one do you want me to get? And I'm just kind of like Mike, I was kind of blindly sticking my hand in and grabbing the ball python and pulling it out. She said, "Man, you're brave." I said, "Why?" I said, they're not going to bite me. I mean, they can,
I
but
can.
they know I believe they know my smell. They know me because they
The
have
only
stuff
time
at
that the only time I think that's overran is during your breeding season,
yeah,
because the females are having those hormones and they're like lunging out of the tank for food. So that
right,
is the one little caveat I would make about it, though.
yeah,
Because that almost like puts them into a trance where they're just like eat, produce, eat, reproduce, and that's the only thing they got on their mind that during the season. So you could get tagged during that time, that's for sure.
yeah, of course. And I mean, it will happen one day, but
Yeah.
that mine have actually bit my wife twice, my great nephew once, and another breeder, but they have never struck at me. I don't know why. I guess what I'm getting at is they know, how a dog knows you're a good person.
Yeah.
People say that all the time. I don't think they're much different than that.
No.
Do you think that unconventional therapy, but like us working with reptiles, arachnids, geckos, amphibians, those kind of things, deserves more respect and visibility in the world?
Um, so I think there is a lot to say about working with these animals, because like, for example, you could put a snake around your neck, and that whole undulation that it does is actually massaging your shoulders, depending on
Yeah,
how
for
big the
sure.
snake is, right? Um, which should release some endorphins, right? And holding the animal kind of releases endorphins too. Um, so I would say, you know, sure, you know, not sure how to really put that one, G-Paw.
Yeah. Well, I think that they do need more spotlight in that they are a healing animal as well as any other animal is. And
Yeah, yeah,
they have the
because
same benefits.
yeah, because it's just like a dog or a cat, right? Except it's a reptile. That's the only difference.
Right.
Now for true service dogs, right? Like Big Mike has a service seeing eye dog.
Yes.
He needs one that you can't get a seeing service eye snake. Like,
Right.
not
Definitely.
possible. But definitely for like emotional support, if you need that, I definitely see reptiles could fit into that aspect of helping people.
Before we go to this next break, I just want to say hey to everyone in the chats. Sean, we got
Okay.
Kristen with A&L Reptiles, my wife of Ribbons Forge, Will at the Python Portal, one of our sponsors for the show, Kristen again, and I guess that's all we got watching right now, but that's fine too.
We got a few.
Uh,
Yeah.
Go ahead and We'll go to their next commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Introducing the Python Portal, a ball python breeder who works on snow and true ghost combos as well as the Tiger Gene.
We also offer many unique custom 3D printed accessories, as well as custom merch, so don't forget to stop by and check us out.
Yeah, and also my nephew's in the house there, Ferg Bob 1983. He's my support person. Been there for me. Well, what took you beyond keeping reptiles and starting to breed reptiles?
Well, at the time, I was getting sick and tired of being over the road. Like, I was spending so much time on the road. I would leave one day, the next day, it's my kid's birthday.
Yeah.
And I was getting tired of that life. And so I'm one of them ones that was like, you know what, maybe I can make some money doing this. So I did what I had to do. I just kind of wish maybe I would have known a few people that put me in the right direction. I wish I would have known them a little sooner. Shout out to Billy. You know, yeah, I just wish I would have known what I was doing a little bit sooner, better, I guess you could say. 'Cause I was one of them guys that bought males and females and had too many males and not enough females. And yeah, it was a mess, especially when you start feeding that many animals and then you realize those animals might not be working for you. So as a business, you have to come to that conclusion.
Yes.
But if you're just doing it as a hobby, I mean, that's great too.
Right. Well, I definitely made the same mistake. I've got more males than I need, but
Yeah.
I'll get them out to veterans or however that's the way we'll.
There you go. I mean,
we'll,
when people are shaking snakes at your door,
well, I am definitely,
that's
I'm
the way it
definitely,
be.
I'm definitely blessed with people wanting to support the situation and what we're doing here and things. And, probably I've got right now 41 or 42 snakes and probably less than half of them did I actually go out and buy. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 sets of, six rack systems now. And I only bought 2 of them. Last night we got a big delivery and a couple of big hatchling racks was donated and a sea serpent rack. And so,
Nice.
yeah, it's been pretty good. Well, you're in a better place now than you were a few years ago. What do you think actually helped the most? Was it your self-realization that you had to make a change? Was it the pets, the love for your family? What do you think it was that turned the actual corner for Sean?
I think it was when I realized things were just spiraling a little too quickly out of control.
Yeah.
And you got to hit the brakes sometime, better late than never.
Definitely.
So, it was a little late. I went many years just not wanting to admit that I had mental health issues. Like, to me, it was a knock on me. That's how I felt. Like, oh, there's something wrong with you. You're worthless. Yeah, I had a lot of that thought going through my mind. I had a lot of survivor's guilt. I lost my best friend in Iraq the first time around to an IED.
Mm,
And that's a whole story for another day, though. But
right.
yeah,
Well, I know that we didn't discuss this, but I know it's a fact. How does you being a support person for your other military that served under you and with you, how does that work into your life, and how does that help you, or did it cause you more stress?
No, I've had plenty of nights and days and in between hours and where people call me. That's why I don't change my number. And they tell me what's going on, and you know, I walk them off the bridge, so to say.
Right.
I walk them away from the cliff, and I don't mind, not one bit.
Well, that's good.
All of us went through a lot of shit over there. We saw a lot of things over there. We did some things that none of us wanted to ever do. And we did them together. It should make it stronger bond, but every bond has weak links in it. We just got to go up there and square them away, because they could just be prideful too, not wanting to go get help.
Right. Well, for men especially, pride's a big thing. It's part of our DNA. It's hard to overcome. You said it just a few years ago that you actually looked for help and tried to turn the corner. It took me.
My wife straight up said she's going to leave me if I don't stop and situate the work. Look, I didn't want to do any more marriages, and I didn't want to let go of my best friend and my kids, and so off I went. Told the VA I needed some help.
Well, I'm proud of you, man. It's hard to turn that corner and look for help. I mean,
the hardest part is facing everything when you're going to your therapy, because they make you face all those things you don't want to face. You have to face them. If you don't, they'll constantly take over your life, every day of your life.
Yeah, they're in that replay reel in the back of your head, and they kind of consume everything, right?
Yeah. It's not going to make us stop scanning the room and all the people in it, and or wanting to sit in the corner all the way in the back in a restaurant so you can see everything. It doesn't get rid of any of that. But what it does do is it gives you relief.
Yeah.
Because you're holding all that stuff in, and it's just like a volcano. If you don't let some of it out every now and then, it's just going to blow.
You're right. I kept things bottled up for years, and we feel like we have to be in control. And the hard thing about pride and admitting that we have a weakness is accepting it ourselves. We have to accept that, I'm not Superman or Wonder Woman or whoever it may be. We're all human. We all suffer problems. And, my problems may seem horrible to me, but when you put it into the aspect of what other people are going through and things, it kind of humbles you down some, because there's some folks out there a whole lot worse off than you and I that are pushing forward every day. And it's because they had a mindset to make a change and to do it. It's like Big Mike. I couldn't imagine losing my sight and not being able to see, and especially at my age now, and trying to push through and relearn all that like he had to do. That was a big thing. What gives you the most hope right now, Sean? Animals, family, community, purpose, friends?
Maybe it's a little bit of everything. I can't really say it's not just one thing, but I mean, when you say friends, you look at people like my co-host, Mike, Big Mike. That guy is probably more loyal than a freaking Labrador.
Yeah.
And for that loyalty, dude, I forever will be his shield as long as he needs it. I mean, who do you know works harder and is blind? It's
No.
Big Mike.
Well,
You know?
Mike's definitely someone that I appreciate, and he's always so willing to
That's
help
right, the
someone.
Sunset Kid.
Yeah, the Sunset Kid. The struggle is definitely not easy. It is a continuous day-to-day thing. Learning how to deal with it and set aside ways to deal with it is what's important. But Mike has always been supportive of everyone. I don't personally have never heard a negative thing come out of him about anybody or any situation. It's always like, how can I help? He's got this going on in his brain. How can I make their life better? And he puts that in there every day.
So, you got people like that fill in that friend spot for me. And then like my immediate family, right? My wife, my kids, like every day my kids, especially my older daughter, she supports me so much. And she knows that it's a struggle for dad not to lose his mind because the anger just takes over. Now I have time to sit there and think about it first and then kind of come from a different angle. And that's very calming and rewarding, to be fair. Like, I didn't want to be the scary guy to my kids. Like when I told my kids I was the boogeyman when they were little and they have nothing to fear because I'm the boogeyman. Like, so hindsight being 2020, I think I was the boogeyman for a little while, man. That's how I felt.
Right.
That's how I felt. And I didn't like it.
Even though as we progress and we've progressed on our journeys and trying to deal with these situations and things, it never truly goes away. I mean, it's always there. We just learn how to deal with it a little better. What keeps you grounded the most? What routine do you have? Or is it the routine of the animals that when stress and anxiety and PTSD starts creeping back in, where do you go?
Actually, so I come to my reptile room and I start looking at videos. Can I do edits? Can I do this? Can I do that? Then once I'm done doing that, I start cleaning tubs. I've noticed the more you can keep your mind focused on something else completely, that's one way to win the battle.
Yes.
I kind of learned that one on my own, but with that and having it be routine and taking my meds, it makes things really easy. It just becomes everyday routine.
Right.
And the everyday routine for me, being former military, is super important. A lot of us, I think, have problems because you have a soldier that, at least for the guys during my time, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, Iraq, Afghanistan, it was a long war. That's, oh man, I lost my train of thought on that, but
it's okay, buddy.
It's just hard, and all those people that went overseas and was part of all that, a lot of them folks are not well. They're not well at all, and they don't even know that there are people out there that want to help them. Yeah, we all don't really care about the VA too much because we feel like a certain way about the VA from time to time. But in reality, though, they are there to help veterans. So
yeah,
you're watching and you're like, dude, I'm watching from a friend's couch because I don't have a place. And you were in Iraq or Afghanistan. Get your butt to the VA. What are you waiting for?
Well, and also, before we go to this last break, we often feel alone, and you felt the same way, I'm sure. You have all these people who care about you and love you around you, but you still feel alone. It's important to understand always that somebody is depending on you. People love you, and you are important, and you have a purpose, and you're important to me. You become my friend, and if anything I could do to help you, I will, and kind of thing. But let's go ahead and cut away for a minute, and we'll be right back.
The United States Association of Reptile Keepers is a science, education, and conservation-based advocacy for the responsible private ownership of and trade in reptiles and amphibians. We endorse caging standards, sound husbandry, escape prevention protocols, and an integrated approach to vital conservation issues. Our goal is to facilitate cooperation between government agencies, the scientific community, and the private sector in order to produce policy proposals that will effectively address important husbandry and conservation issues. The health of these animals, public safety, and maintaining ecological integrity are our primary concerns.
Well, welcome back. Well, in this last little segment here, we won't be long. If there's someone listening tonight, Sean, out there that's battling PTSD, anxiety, all those things that you and I have battled, and they don't know what to do, what would you tell them?
I tell them that they're not broken and that they're just carrying more than they know how to set down yet. And tell them to come get help, whether if it's just coming to talk to me for a little bit. I'm not a therapist, so I cannot prescribe you no pills or anything like that. But if you need a shoulder to lean on, you need someone to talk to. I've experienced loss in many ways. I've experienced a lot of things that you might not think I've experienced. Just try, reach out. I don't care if you're war related or not. If you got issues and you need someone to talk to, you need a friend, I'll be there. I'm always there for everybody.
And that's what they need. They need somebody they can connect with, someone they can talk to. That and sometimes a friend or someone that you don't know so well is better, because they're not really going to judge you or feel the way that you think family might feel or whatever when you try to talk to them. So it's good that you can be that person for your military buddies and anyone else as well.
Yeah, I've had plenty of guys call me drunk as hell in the middle of the night. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? All right. Let's settle down. Sit down. You're drunk. Sit down. Let's talk it out.
Yeah. Well, I know this is a question you wanted me to ask. You're looking forward to, because what people don't know is I take what I know about people and sit down and formulate a series of questions that may or may not get asked and send them to them so they can have some time to think about it, just like I did you. Yeah. If you could go back and talk to the version of yourself right now, fresh, home from deployment, what would you tell that Sean?
I would tell him to keep his head up and don't be afraid. Keep moving forward, just like they trained you. Don't be afraid to get help.
Yeah.
Do it now. And don't wait till later, because it's going to ruin everything for you if you wait till later. Yeah, but there's great things waiting for you at the end of the road, dude. You just got to keep moving forward and going. Don't stop.
That's exactly right, Sean. What do you think it is about fear, not only in this situation, but any situation that we face? It's that unknown, that fear that stops us from getting help, or stops us from doing things that we would enjoy in life and things. Why do you think fear affects us that way? Do you have a thought on that?
I don't know if I ever really feared going to get help, so I don't know how much I could speak on that, because it wasn't really the fear. It was just me being hard-headed, you know? But there are people out there that are afraid to go and get help.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. They're just there to help you. And if you're like me and you don't really care for the VA system doctors when it comes to mental health, tell them you want the VA cares. You want an out of service person. That's what I have. I have a civilian I go and talk to, and she listens to me, and then we tackle the problem at the root base and try to go from there every time.
I can see where that would be beneficial. You know, you may not be comfortable talking with people in the VA or, you know, those kind of things that affect your, you know, may affect how they write something down about you or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get that. Well, Duvall put in a quote in the messages now. He says, when you're down and out, you can only go up from where you're currently at. And he said, I have a good quote. What is known is manageable. If you realize what's going on and you acknowledge it and admit to yourself, you can deal with it. But until you recognize it, you will always spiral out of control. Would you agree?
100%. 100%. Because the problem is not the person suffering. It's they don't know how to control it.
Right.
Like in my case, I felt like I could control it. I got this. I could do it. But every day just got worse than the last. And so one of my symptoms is seasonal defective mood disorder. Starts in like September. That's the same month I lost my best friend, was in September. We were almost done with our full tour, and it was like one of the few last convoys, and he didn't make it back from his convoy.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that loss. And I definitely want to say to all the military out there right now that's listening or may replay this later, thank you for your service and your sacrifices that you made. I don't think most people really sit down and think about what our veterans and our current military give and put out every day and the things they face. You know, people think the military today is a life of luxury, and it may be more so today than it was, you know, in your day or in my father's day.
Oh,
but
yeah, 100%.
But it's still not easy street. You know, things can happen in this world just like that, and you be in a foreign country the next morning and
within 8 hours.
Yeah, hell breaking loose. Well, Sean, we're going to close here in a minute. In your ball python world, what are you most excited about this year?
This year is my first shot at having some double visuals. I've got a hypo clown project I'm working, and so this will be the first year at a shot at double visuals. So I'm really excited about that one.
That's good. That'll be great. I hope you get a large percentage of that clutch that are double visual.
Oh yeah,
that'll help you out in more ways than one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Not only your morale, but it'll help your pocketbook some too, because you won't need to keep all of them.
No.
And double visuals are where it's at. Triple visuals, double visuals. You know, everyone used to strive for double hets and triple hets and quad hets, but a double or triple visual is a whole lot more impressive. Thank you, Mike. Well, Sean, where can everybody find you at? How can they get a hold of you?
All right. So they can get a hold of me on Instagram, Facebook, SJS Exotics. You can get a hold of me on YouTube at the Big Homie Sean SJS at YouTube. And yeah. So, and then I have the Big Homie on Instagram as well.
Right. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your soul and your heart and the emotion. We can all see how it affected you, and that makes you a big man, Sean. You know, someone who can expose themselves. Don't give me that little smirk and shake your head. No, it makes you a big man.
Don't call me out.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you out. You know I will. It takes a big person to expose themselves and feel vulnerable. And you definitely did that today. And if there was anyone listening who needs help, it had to touch them. And I appreciate
Leave a comment down below and I'll write back to you.
Yeah. If you
wanna
leave
talk,
comments in the
leave a
show or
comment
whatever,
down there,
Sean will
Yep.
get a hold of you. He's pretty diligent about things.
and I won't tell nobody.
Well,
Hell,
we're
I
getting-
forget 5 seconds after being told, right, G Paul?
sometimes, but hey, we do well. I stay on top of things and keep it pushing your way, and everything always works out.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Mike does the same thing a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Well, as we close out this episode of Behind the Scales, I want to thank you for spending this time with us. These conversations aren't easy, but they're necessary. If something you heard tonight resonated with you, know this: you're not weak for struggling, and you're not alone in it. Healing doesn't always look like a therapist's couch. Sometimes it looks like routine, responsibility, and quiet moments. And yes, sometimes it looks like cleaning tubs, changing out animal, tubs and things like that, and caring for those animals that ground you when the world gets loud. If you're a veteran, a keeper, a breeder, or just someone caring more than you let on, reach out, talk to someone, find an outlet. There is strength in asking for help, and courage in staying another day. If this episode helped you, consider sharing it with someone who might need it. One conversation can change a mindset. One story can save a life. Thank you to our guest, Sean, for your honesty, and thank you for listening. I'm G. Paul, and this has been Behind the Scales. And until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Good night, y'all.